Good morning, evening, and or night, Rando fans. We've got some incredible matchups for you here. Looks like up top from Big Chocobo's Storage Wars, we have Beauty in Discovery, who is up against Commander Leonhardt from the very exclusive Belong Cricket Club. And below that, oh no, I'm wrong, actually. Crispy Slick is up against Amaranth from the Massidian Comedy Club, the other exclusive club in Free Enterprise. And below that, we have, or above that, we've got Crispy. Oh man, I'll tell you what, this is my first opener, so I'm a little rough. Sheep Launcher, you want to take it a little bit?
Flossie, you're doing great.
I'm nervous. So we
are,
got some people running rando. That's what I'm saying here.
we do. We have a fun twin cast here for you tonight. 4 different teams getting in on the action, running the same seed. And basically, what you need to know is that the runners on the right, Amaranth and Commander Leonhardt, their teams are up 1-0 in the matchups for this week. So their teams win the week if the runners on the right win. The runners on the left, Beauty and Discovery and Crispy Slick, their teams are each 1-0 down, so they're looking to win this one to stay alive. But taking a look at the seed we have for tonight, we have an Edward start, Flossie. What do you think of that?
Well, Big Ed, he's going to be quick. There's possibly a spoon on the table, so he could be pretty mighty as well. And looks like we are rolling here.
Yeah, Edward is going to team up with a twin, and that is a Palom. The Baron guards or the Kaipo guards give us a firebomb, and we are underway. We are glad to have you with us.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. We're going to see where everyone kind of goes first. Big part of this flag set is going to be gathering loot, so we're going to see where people are going to go get their money.
And looking at the objectives in the middle there, the big thing that stands out to me is there are 3 required moon objectives, Cape Bahamut, Masa Moon, and the Ribbon Room. You only have to do 6 of the 8 in order to win the game, but at least one of those has to be on the moon, so the Darkness Crystal is required.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be taking a big look for that. Looks like Leonhardt's going to do the Watery Pass play. We have a Baron check there from Beauty and Discovery. Oh, and also Amaranth. And Crispy Slick, so a little bit of a divergence from Commander here.
Yeah, Baron Inn containing, I believe that was a vanilla Karate Man, sitting with some flavor of Mylon, some purple robes. So Beauty and Discovery not interested in looting that out at all. Can't really blame him. The loot in Baron Inn, not a whole lot of it, and not very highly weighted.
No, it is a tempting get right out the gate too. You kind of use it as a moment to sort your brain. I get looting there for sure.
And Beauty is going to dive into Eblan Castle. Very lots of treasure chests here, very highly weighted. Do have to reset 3 times to because you can't tangle with the monsters just yet. Even an Edward with a spoon, I don't think could tangle with any of these trap chests. But they will at least let you know where you're looking for later. As a reminder, K-Trap is on, so key items can be in trap chests.
Right, and we're going to get a peek at the character in the bed up there. Was that a Cecil or was that a Kane on Commander Leonhardt's side?
It looked like a Cecil to me, a Dark Knight Cecil, and that means the Sand Ruby hunt is on, especially since the shops are wild, and I believe somebody in chat is saying that Kaipo might be selling something that Cecil can swing and swing hard.
That's pretty convenient. You got everything you need right there.
Yeah, the one-stop shop in the Desert Oasis, it's like the Palm Springs of Final Fantasy IV.
You know?
What else do you need? So what would be the Final Fantasy IV equivalent of Coachella? That's what we got to figure out.
It would be the Animal Band in Silvera, I think.
And so Amaranth also checking out Castle Eblan. Crispy Slick is going to raise the hovercraft. We're going to see a whole lot of looting here to start. Basically get all the money you can and take a look at the shops, because before that first fight, Palom does get level 2 spells quickly from a fight on Hobbs, but before that first fight, there's not a whole lot of bosses anywhere that you feel comfortable with this team.
No, that's true. This team is quite squishy, so getting the loot and going shopping is going to be key. And I know we're probably hoping to see an Artemis bow here somewhere. I don't believe we've seen it yet, though.
And lots of edge weapons in Troya on Commander Leonhardt's side, of both a boomerang and a full moon and Murasame for sale. All very expensive. We don't know if Edge is going to show up, although worth noting, he is not restricted in this flag set, so he can be on Hobbs. He could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's very true. And I believe I did see Commander Leonhardt spec by a full moon, possibly. So that's definitely a nice thing to do because you can back row Edge with that. And I believe that's the same attack power as a long sword, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I believe you're right. A little bit less than a ninja sword, but that ability to back row makes it worth it. You don't want to hang on to it forever because the attack animation is a little long. You could like feel your life dripping away as the attack animation goes, but it is really worth it to have a back row glitched Edge.
absolutely. Plus, it looks like he's throwing a banana, so not very dignified.
Oh, ninja robes for sale in Agart. Go ninja shirt, go ninja shirt, go.
I feel like there's not going to be an Edge in this seed now.
Well, while our runners are running around doing their looting and doing their shopping, do want to thank our restreamer Dathis and our two intrepid trackers tonight, Ikir and Zald, who are helping us keep track of all of this. There is going to be a lot of action for 4 players, 4 different teams. It's going to be wild and crazy, and we're glad to have you along for the ride as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for the hard work. And yeah,
ribbon.
Oh, we saw the ribbon. Yeah, I believe that was where was
That's
that?
in Mysidia.
It was in Mysidia. Gotcha.
Always nice to know where that is, and that's part of the problem with That's Wild, right? Is there's too much good stuff, and I don't know about you, Flossie, but I can only keep like 2 item shop locations in my head at a time before I start running out.
Oh, I agree. I have to use a shop tracker, honestly, when I'm running, so there's often pauses after my store visits.
Certainly no shame in that, and my shop tracker usually takes the form of pen and paper. But we have our first fight on screen. Commander Leonhardt climbing up Hobbs, finding a Tella. You're not going to find Meteo up here, buddy, but Evil Wall is in his way.
It's nice to get this boss done early. He can be quite nasty in some spots, especially King of Fey March, I've found.
Yeah, not as simple as it could be. Commander Leonhardt did find some nice piece of equipment for that Edward, only taking 1 damage in the back row, even though Palom is just getting bodied.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a little bit of levels on Palom through this, but, you know, it might just feel good to beat it.
Yeah, the Palom is definitely the character you most want levels here. The Hobbs fight will push Palom into level 2 spells, which is where you really start cooking with gas.
Absolutely. And Tella is great to have on this flag set because, of course, he comes with Exit, which is pretty amazing.
And you also see, living that Tella life, he used Recall to cast Weak on Evil Wall. That won't work. Bosses can't get weaked.
And yeah, that's true. And there are absolutely no free bosses in this flag set, so you can't mute the Baron guards. You have to completely whittle down Water Hag's HP. It's pretty challenging.
Well, nobody will have to do anything with Water Hag in this seed. Water Hag, as Crispy Slick showing us, is in Mist Cave.
Ah, beautiful.
So, yeah, no worries there. Would like to see Water Hag in a little bit of a different location.
Yeah. Yeah, really. I mean, maybe not, Cave Bahamut, but
Right.
Dwarf Castle might be okay.
Wouldn't want Water Hag on, like, at the Giant, on a required Giant.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But this just means, the new meme for this tournament is how powerful the Dark Imps are. So this just gives the Dark Imps more places to be.
They are terrible, aren't they? I've noticed this.
Yeah, they start punching and they don't stop punching.
And you can't stone them in this flag set, so.
Correct. And there's 3 of them, and they just keep going. It's like Baigen basically, except with equal HP. And so Beauty and Discovery also up on Evil Wall. I've always wondered how the wall gets damaged by arrows.
Cheap drywall. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, Commander's, whittling down on that wall there, but yeah, there he goes. Okay, good.
Yeah, it does
Commander
get through.
Leonhardt is through.
Does not get the experience on Palom and is going to leave without tangling with West Hobbs. The Seed practically begging him to go to West Hobbs and use that new shiny exit spell he has, but he decides not to.
Yeah, it's fair. There's a lot of looting to be done and a lot of time to be saved by not looting, so there's always kind of this cost-benefit analysis going on in your head.
Now, I know the meta is kind of to fade Fabool as long as you can. This would be a time if I were if I had a tough Hobbs fight like this, I might just head over to Fabool, get that free heal, get a key item check. It would disappear the dream of single dipping Fabool, but that free heal would really make me feel better.
I completely agree, and I've kind of given up on that beautiful dream of fading Fabool, because I feel like 9 times out of 10 the Magma Key is there for some reason. It's there every time until or it's there when you don't check it, and then, every time you do, it's like a flame whip.
Right. It's when you really need the Magma Key to be there, because the only other check is a Flame Dog in the tower of Zot. That's when the Magma Key doesn't show up.
Exactly.
The Commander heading back to Baron Inn after using a cabin outside, and gets to face Octomam in the second spot. A really good spot for Octomam, a really slow spot that just gets slower.
Yeah, definitely a boss that you don't mind seeing there. And yeah, I believe Ed's got lit arrows, looks like.
Ooh, Beauty and Discovery making a big discovery in Fabool. Mute daggers, dancing daggers for sale.
Oh, that's great. Always buy the mute dagger.
Yep. Never know when you're gonna run into a mage type. And actually, Beauty heading there because Beauty got wiped out by that evil wall.
Right, yeah. It's I kind of spoke too soon. It's quite a tricky spot for that evil wall with this particular party and this equipment set.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of damage output from this party so far. No level 2 spells on Palom, a base level Eddie that maybe you have a bow and arrow for, but you're doing maybe 100 damage a hit, and all the while the evil wall's just creeping down on you.
Right, totally. And I don't believe anyone saw a Stardust Rod anywhere, so.
But, in the vanilla speedrun of FF4, the Dancing Dagger cures all evil, and that's what Beauty is going to bank on here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won't have too much trouble getting through this with that Dancing Dagger. Yeah, that was almost 400 there from Ed, so.
And Beauty and Discovery does knock down that wall. The wall comes tumbling down. And Commander Leonhardt actually going to give us the first look at a key item location, and it is a tower key. Keyless tower off the table.
And I do believe we did see some cat claws for this Yang here.
Yeah, this is a good time in the game to pick up Yang. He does need levels to really become effective, and if he shows up too late, it, he never uh, he never really gets the chance to get going. So at this stage of the game, still enough experience opportunities to make sure that he can contribute.
Yeah, I mean, and at the very worst, he can be just kind of a big shield for you. He does level up pretty fast.
And so with Tella and Yang, you have to think Mount Ordeals is gonna be on the table for these runners sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Ordeals in this particular flag set is a check I don't really care for too much because it's 3 bosses, obviously, and then, just the potential of a key item at the end of it. So Tella is a motivator. Obviously, Cecil is the biggest motivator for that check, but Magma Key could be there, Darkness could be there, so.
Wouldn't it be something if the Sand Ruby was the was the reward for Ordeals?
It very well could be.
Why not? And Dark Imps.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, in Antlion.
Yes.
So the quote-unquote free bosses that aren't really that free in this flag set, turning up in fairly easy situations. And we already know that the first spot in Baron is some variety of guards. So, don't look now. But maybe we've rolled a seed where the rudest bosses are in the rudest places.
Well, I haven't seen old DKC yet anywhere, so we shouldn't speak too soon. The run killer.
And Beauty and Discovery through the Antlion Cave, lickety split.
And it is, yeah, there's the crystal, but this time it just kind of adds to your key item pool. It doesn't get you Zeromus access, so.
Well, it does.
Well, it does technically get you. do you need the crystal to actually talk to him up there?
I don't believe you do, but yeah, the crystal, fighting Zeromus is absolutely not required, and in fact, talking to Zeromus will lead you nothing but a bon mot from the big bad at the end.
All right, looks like Commander is doing that Ordeals check. Let's see who the first boss is here.
Yeah, Amaranth has kind of butt her head against the evil wall a couple of times, now going to go elsewhere, try and get a foothold on the seed.
Yeah, pretty much your gear is the only thing that's going to get you through that fight, so I don't blame her for going around and looting a little more for that. And first boss on Ordeals looks like Mom Bomb.
Would this be French vanilla, would you call it? Mom Bomb on another mountain?
It's like Neapolitan, maybe.
Well, Mom Bomb here, not atrocious. Definitely worth for her.
No, there's a lot worse spots you could see this boss, for sure.
And Beauty and Discovery is going to defend Fabul at this point. So is Crispy Slick, so that's very noble of them.
They're donating their time there.
And it is a vanilla alt gauntlet.
You don't see this one that often. Good use of the firebomb there for the 6 imp fight. That's an annoying one, just because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, not a ton of AoE damage from this party. Palom only has so much MP to go around.
Your starting kit does give you, I believe, 10 Thor Rages, but there might be, better utility for them with harder fights like Odin or Kanatsu later on, so,
Yeah, definitely don't want to spend them all here. And some of these enemies I don't think will even be killed by a single Thor.
Yeah, I believe, I was about to ask too. I think there's a few here that would definitely take that punch.
But Beauty using the level 2 spells from Palom and then finishing up with a Dancing Dagger on Edward. Crispy Slick also moving through quickly.
It's kind of nice to see Alt Gauntlet early because it kind of helps you understand where you can use your hourglasses that the starting kit gave you best. You start with 3. They're pretty precious. There are 3 trap chests in Eblan, but there's some pretty hard ones later on as well. So it's nice to know that you at least don't have to use it or, save it for like a really, really bad gauntlet later on.
And the last bomb on Commander Leonhardt's side attacked Palom. Just does not want Palom to get experience.
Yeah, that's a frustrating character to, get constantly targeted because, you want Palom to level, you want it to get him to Quake, you want him to get to Warp so you could pull off the Warp glitch in Dwarf Castle. There's a lot of reasons you don't want him laying down.
Oh, Wyvern in the back attack spot. Ugly.
All right. Oh, Ice 3.
Ouch. Well,
Yeah.
that was a delight for the viewers of Free Enterprise to come in on. Welcome. That was...
Yeah, welcome into Ice 3.
Do you want to welcome in those raiders and get you caught up a little bit? Our starting character was Edward, and Palom was paired with him with a firebomb at the start. So far, the big discovery is Cecil sleeping in the bed and also Excal's for sale in Kaipo. But otherwise, not a whole lot has been discovered by our runners yet. Tower Key is in Baron Inn. The Antlion Nest has a crystal. Nobody's found underground access yet.
Yeah, and after experiencing that Ice 3, Commander is deciding to do the Antlion check, which we already know, unfortunately, will only net the crystal, so we'll give him a little bit of levels to it. So it's not nothing. It's not nothing. Trying to be positive here.
Also, hello everyone. My name is Dathis. I'm your restreamer in the background. You get my mic because this is just a chef's kiss moment. You want that, Cecil? Yeah. You're gonna have to earn it today. Okay, I'm gone again.
It's a thing of beauty.
And, the other thing is that at least our runners know, or at least Commander does at this point, that the magma key can't be back there. The magma key has to show up somewhere in the overworld, and it can't be gated by that wyvern.
That is very, very true.
So, and now Beauty and Discovery is also going to make that realization that there is a very rude wyvern in that back attack spot.
They can't all be retreat witchburns.
They can't even sometimes be retreat witchburns. I've seen that once.
I've seen it once.
Hilarious.
I've seen it once. I expect it every time now.
The one time I've seen it was also a Sea Hero flag. It was Edward, and it was the changing room that had the retreat. Wyvern took awesome. One look at Edward and ran away.
No way.
So yeah, a little bit of early seed rudeness and a little bit of kind of a hiding the ball here. And we were so bound up in that, Beauty and Discovery and Crispy Slick both completed their defensive Fabul, and I didn't catch what the item was.
I didn't either. I was just thinking about Wyvern.
And it was an Assassin Dagger. Thank you.
Dagger. Thank you.
To our intrepid.
All right, yeah,
crackers.
It's making it work. So we haven't seen any trap chests yet. The goods are probably hiding there. So we'll see if any of our runners attempt that rather than deal with that wyvern first.
Yeah, with this party, the Flame Dog chest certainly is very doable. As you said, the runners start off with a couple of hourglasses, so taking on those Eblan trap chests isn't quite as daunting. And Crispy Slick's gonna get the bad news. There it is. You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Hey, that's been debunked.
Nice to meet you, says Wyvern.
And everybody's pretty much feeling the same thing. Literally anything but this, please. So.
Yeah.
Beauty in the news.
Your pleas have left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
Oh, beloved character, Mr. Freeze. Everybody.
Alright, everyone. Chill.
Yeah.
You know, what can you do if you get Ice 3 blocking your way? You know?
You can only pun.
You gotta find different ways to say the same thing, which is that there is a big roadblock in your way.
Or you just slide across the ground that was just made there and you go somewhere else. And you just skate to the next check.
Yeah, our runners seem to have taken the slide, so everyone's kind of running around doing anything but that.
And didn't Rydia knock down an ice wall? Maybe if we had Rydia, she'd be able to...
she did. That's true. That's very, very true.
That will guarantee that she doesn't show up.
Right, I know. No sign of her yet, and looks like... Yeah, Beauty is going for Baron, and Crispy's getting through the Baron bosses there. Baron and bosses, I should say.
And so the back attack Wyvern is kind of an interesting spot. So, you know, a back attack should entitle the enemy to the first turn every time. But Wyvern actually, I believe, takes a beat even on Witchburn. To at least, if you have a high enough agility, at least give you the chance to do some kind of maneuver. It's going to take a long time to get there, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in theory, that is a spell that can be walled, but in practice, here we are.
Yeah, and in theory, practice and theory are the same thing. And in practice, they're not.
Exactly.
Crispy gets his tower key. And so that'll be, you know, maybe there's going to be another way to get to the tower. Who knows?
Looks like Commander's going for those trap chests in Eblan Castle now. I definitely don't blame him for that. So we'll see if there's progression there.
Yeah, we'll see. Commander did not loot this out in the beginning. We'll see if he wants to take on the monsters or if he's just on a looting mission, and he's ready. He wants to know what's in these trap chests.
Yeah, and as seed as rude as this, I wouldn't mind. I would mind, but I would probably find myself just wanting to use all 3 hourglasses in here just to get it done.
Question in chat, noticing a firebomb. That was the starting item given to us from the king. Given to us by either the Baron Guards or the Kaipo Guards.
Here you go, you throw this away.
Yeah, but when you throw the firebomb away, suddenly it explodes and you have other problems.
That's very true.
And so Beauty and Discovery also completing Baron in and has a decision of his own to make. Amarith, going through the Fabul Gauntlet, these bombs and gray bombs can be really annoying if you let them. Luckily, the fire spell got off in time, and Amarith should be good to go.
Yeah, she didn't seem to take any explode there, so that's always a good thing. And the Sword Rat Needler fight is the last one in the set, so home stretch there for Amarith.
I do like how the Sword Rats and the Needlers kind of hang out together. Gives me hope in the world.
You know.
So Commander Leonhardt did get a pan out of the Staleman's Skull chest. That's huge. That's required.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good get.
Yeah, can't use it right now, but Beauty and Discovery is trying to go pet a dog. The problem is the dog is hiding.
Yeah, the dog likes to hang out in that last, like the third chest in this room here, or the third behind the third door rather. So
Yeah, so annoying when it's in one of these chests that you have to take a long time to get to. Lots of doors. Being real shy. It's okay. It's okay, Flame Dog. You can come on out.
just give him a little rolled up hamburger. He'll come right out.
And there's the Magma Key, Crispy Slick.
Beautiful. All
Found the
right.
Magma Key in the Black Cat Lavia chest.
That is the key item everyone has on their mind right now.
Leonhardt will get there, you would think, eventually. Takes care of the Mad Ogre's Beauty, finally finds the dog. Oh, that's big for...
That was a crystal sword, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Don't have to buy it.
And that was a key item from the Flame Dog chest. Was that the Darkness Crystal?
I missed it.
I saw it was yellow. I saw it was long. We will see. But that could be huge.
Yeah, that could be very, very big. That's a tricky little check when you don't have the Earth Crystal. You kind of have to remember to route it in. It's awkward to route in, so we'll see if any of the other runners grab that.
So, I hear our tracker informing us, not the Darkness Crystal, so sorry about that, but it was the Twin Harp.
Twin Harp, all right.
Yeah, not strictly required, and Beauty and Discovery not going to dive Cave Magnus just for a single check. Gonna fade Harp, you know? It makes sense, but come on.
Just do it.
Come on.
It's only like 45 minutes extra.
What are you, scared? Scared that somebody's gonna pass you? Come on.
It's one of the worst checks in the game to whiff. You know, when you spend all that time and you get nothing for it, it's, you know. I don't blame any of our runners for fading it.
You don't get nothing, you get music. You get
You do. You get the
stirring
gift
of
of
the soul.
music.
And Commander Leonhardt gets his underground access, and he is out of there.
Done with the castle.
And Amaranth up on Tower of Zot, about to get her Twin Harp. We'll see if she wants to make the check. The Twin Harp is a long check. It wouldn't be many folks' first choice, but maybe if you feel behind, which I think Amaranth might at this point.
Sure. Totally get that. One thing I may do in this tower at this point is do a little peek for Demist at the Magus Sisters spot.
Ooh, yeah.
'Cause that is a spot Demas likes to hide sometimes, and it's easily forgotten, especially, obviously, if you don't have an Earth Crystal.
Yeah, that could be a big play. There's a save spot right outside of it, so you can reset out of it quickly. If it's not a high percentage play, but boy, when it hits, it makes you feel like a genius.
It's so good, yeah. Yep.
Ooh, Commander found a Gaia hat for that Palom, so that black magic kid will be doing that much more damage.
Yeah, that I believe is his best in slot hat there.
It's a fine chapeau.
Let's picture it as a beret from now on.
Crispy through the Mad Ogres. Beauty and Discovery right behind, gonna get that big shiny stick. And I cannot remember which of those two have previously been to Kaipo, but you always have the thought of Cecil being in the seed in your mind, and that I'm sure allows our runners to prioritize the character plots: Baron Castle, Dwarf Castle, Earth Crystal.
Absolutely, yeah. And Commander is going straight for the pan here. Obviously a objective, so definitely feels like the move.
It's an objective. It's 2 key item checks, and this one might get a nice weapon or a piece of gear. A black shirt would really be helpful here.
An apple.
An apple. Maybe Yang thinks that Edward is a teacher who needs an apple. And Crispy heading underground as well. Beauty and Discovery making his way through the trap chest. We'll take a minute here to kind of go over the stakes. These are 4 different teams that our runners are representing. On the bottom, Beauty and Discovery with Big Chocobo Storage Wars against Commander Leonhardt and Balam Cricket Club. If Commander wins, Balam Cricket Club wins this week and moves to 3-0. And on top, we've got Crispy Slick with Big Trouble in Little Kaipo against Amaranth in Mysidia Comedy Club. Mysidia Comedy Club is up 1-0 on this week, so Amaranth is playing for the win, for Mysidia Comedy Club's first win of the tournament. And Crispy Slick, of course, playing to turn Game 3 into a winner-take-all.
It's pretty exciting stakes tonight.
So Commander did get the pan check done. Did get a rat tail and an earth crystal.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So back, we're gonna see a little more Azat here from Commander. And yeah, nice to kind of fold that Flame Dog check in while you have the Earth Crystal in your hand, so you don't have to, double dip there.
Yeah, Crispy Slick also skipped the dog. Going to be similarly relieved. Oh, we have a treasury check from Commander Leonhardt. I bet it's going to be money out of 10.
I bet it will be a lot of money out of 10.
And we'll see if there's big money. Big money. No whammies.
I feel like top row will be slightly whammy and bottom row will be amazing. That's my prediction.
All right. Go ahead. I always imagine that she is like, fine, go ahead. Take our treasures.
Even as a kid, I felt that way. So I felt kind of bad. Yeah.
And stop. No whammies.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah, it was all right. Didn't see any huge 6-figure payouts there, but not bad at all.
No, probably going to be seeing a big trickling off of the looting on Commander's side there. Once you hit the treasury, you're pretty good to go, depending.
So Crispy is kind of doing some other things before returning the pan to Sheila. Going to be the first one into the Fey March. Did encounter the Warrior's Chest. That is a trap chest. Not in a position to take that on right now. So reset and is looting the rest of the path with impunity.
It's an obnoxious trap chest to deal with before you're ready, for sure. Because even if you do get that hourglass off, they're probably all going to still take that first punch at you. And if, you can't tank it, then it's a very annoying reset.
Yeah, and if you're not specifically preparing for it, you don't have float on, so you're going to be weakened anyway. And they do hit hard. So, yeah. warrior's chest, you gotta be looking for the fight and being prepared for it before it's worth your while.
And frustratingly, we weren't able to get Tella online because of that awful, awful wyvern, so no float for us.
Well, the hook will bring Crispy back, and actually, that's even more efficient because one of the items that Sheila gave is the rat tail. So Crispy, once he completes his turn in, will have a whole plethora of things to go through.
Yeah, that's gonna feel pretty good.
And what a shop in the Feymarch. Power shirts, strength rings, heroine robes.
That's a great Feymarch.
It sure is. Yeah, and in case you joined us a little late, the reason that that Tella is still not online is because Ordeals is blocked by an exceptionally rude wyvern in the back attack spot, whose opening attack, Ice 3.
Terrible.
And Amarith is the first one getting her first look at this, and gets the... So far it's Wyvern 4, Runners nothing.
So my screen on Crispy's a little pixelated right now, so I didn't quite catch who was down at Feymarch there. I want to say I saw maybe a Val.
Ooh, that would be a really tricky fight for this party. Val and Dark Elf.
Val and Dark Elf, okay, yeah.
Kainatso in the first spot at Tower of Zot, so no skin off anybody's back for not checking. Demas not up here. And Commander taking on Kainatso a little bit annoying and slow at this spot, but shouldn't be too threatening.
He is in shell mode already, and even though he does do the remedy, I think Commander's got this. And Beauty on the other side is actually attempting the Warrior's chest, so we'll see how that goes. Hourglass going off there.
Yeah, just taking it on. Does have Quake on the kid, but not at a high enough level to take care of the Warriors. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that's that. I kind of thought that he had that there, but I guess he didn't. Though that being said, having Palom with Quake is really good for taking out these underground cave trap chests. It's very essential. So,
well, if Riddy ever shows up, now she has something to do.
Exactly. And first character in Zot there is just a duplicate Tella.
And no dupes. No dupes!
Cannot take him. Cannot take this Tella home. You have one at home already.
No dupes for you. And there, no Sand Ruby required. There is a Dark Knight Cecil.
So now all we have to do is figure out how to get through that Wyvern.
Oh, but Crispy Slick also gets the Sand Ruby from the Rat Tail chest.
Whoa! Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Cecil O'Clock.
So now both Commander and Crispy know that Cecil is in the offing, and Crispy can taste it. Can taste it.
Cecil's never been so close yet so far away than in this seed.
Let me at him, Crispy says. I like the confidence. Now that Yang should be able to weather that first Ice 3, should have enough HP, and it'll just be a matter of what he can do after that before the nukes start flying in.
And this is going to be very, very interesting. And it looks like Crispy's still going to do some prep here, so do maybe a little more shopping in Fabul.
And Commander getting through the Tower of Zot, King Queen Eblan in that second spot, no issue at all. Did see a Sparkle is in the offing as the second spot in Dwarf Castle.
Well, we know it's not Wyvern.
We do know that. And actually the second spot in Dwarf Castle a really good spot to see most sparkles.
Yeah, that's very true. It's not a difficult spot. And the Zot key item, well, actually, it wasn't a key item. It was just a white shirt, so...
Yeah, hey there, Delilah. Just a plain white tee.
Yeah. Which, the thing is, you know, you can, if you don't have a white mage, you can throw that on Cecil, and it's actually, like, pretty decent, so... Hopefully they can find some utility for that soon.
Amarith, back in Eblan Castle, going to discover her magma key shortly. Does have virus on the kid. We'll try and get him up to Quake before she heads underground.
Virus is good, Quake is better.
Yeah, you know, virus only targets one. Quake targets all of them all.
And let's see how Crispy does. Well, Ice 3 coming out there, and will Yang tank it? He does.
And even Palom survives.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, Palom too. Cool 36.
Yeah, and no reason to put up a Star Veil at this point. The nukes will come bouncing off of Wyvern, so they're not reflectable. And now it's a damage race. You would think Wyvern would be able to avoid Quake with those big wings.
Maybe the wings are too heavy.
Maybe.
Decorative.
But Crispy Slick is our first runner
Beautiful.
through
Crispy.
that roadblock of a Wyvern.
It can be done.
Impossible is nothing. And so Edward will have to face whatever is in the changing room alone.
I like this extremely brave, no save Edward go for it move we just saw from Crispy after that Wyvern.
Eesh.
I know. I would have saved. I'm a scaredy cat though.
I can't watch. I can't watch. Commander also survived that ice tree.
Ed's getting a tiara for his troubles there. None of our party can none of our party can use it. That is a poem, not a forum. And it's an Ogopogo in the changing room today.
So should be quick enough to outspeed this Ogo. And does
nice.
it.
Yeah, that's it's good to get Ogopogo out of the way too, speaking of terrible bosses that could really mess up your day later on.
Beauty and Discovery, I believe, is in Dwarf Castle taking on Ashura. So this is kind of new information. But yeah, we kind of have a kind of bro down here. No female characters here yet.
No, not yet. We are going to get a character check here very shortly. Beauty is going to see a new party member, hopefully.
Yeah, it does not have that Cecil yet. It could be a dupe Cecil here in Dwarf Castle. We've seen 5 of the possible 7 characters.
And it's a dupe Palom.
And it's D's Lunars in the second spot.
Kind of a nasty boss, but certainly doable at this point. Yang definitely doing work there.
Yeah, and this is one where you're not afraid to attack with that Yang. One, because each Lunar only has about 1500 HP, and 2, because even if you don't kill them and they start throwing counters, the magic power here not high at all, so the viruses do not hurt nearly as much as they could elsewhere.
And Crispy getting the greatest prize of all, Cecil.
Yes, Crispy will rescue the knight in shining armor. Beauty watching helplessly as the hand slowly makes its way to the crystal. And Palom does know warp now, or should.
Yep, there you go.
And that was a Dragoon Spear for the Cane we don't have.
And we have an X-Scal in the Luca Cave crystal spot, so we don't really need it. We have the Crystal Sword, but thank you.
No. So if the Luca Key turns up, the only reason to go into Sealed Cave is to complete that objective. And, I think most of our runners, I think all of them actually have the Crystal Sword in hand at this point, so that X-Cal almost entirely superfluous. Although, when are we going to get Goro from Mortal Kombat into our party who can quad wield?
Oh yeah, that's coming up in the upcoming update, right?
Playable Goro when?
Yeah, exactly.
And Commander going for the hook, and Beauty and Discovery going for that key full tower play.
You love completing the whole tower if you can. It's a good feeling.
There are 6 checks up here. That's so many checks. And you don't have to feel bad on this flag set for not having Edge in your party when taking on the alerts. So Edge can sneak Sirens from the alerts. But here, you don't need Sirens. You don't get EXP from them.
No, that's true. This is pretty much a grind-free flag set, which is pretty different. Your starting kit does give you, I think, 1 or 2 Sirens, depending. You can use them to summon a Centipede over by Forge and steal Silk Webs.
But again, you need an Edge in your party to make.
Oh yeah, of course.
And Edge, that CAD, is, probably
off carousing.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Rydia, wherever they are. Crispy about to take on his Ashura. This is definitely a spot where a Mute Knife on that Cecil might be even better than a Crystal Sword here. It certainly is good.
Yeah, mages, when they're weak to mute, they're very weak to mute. It can be kind of a game changer with a tricky boss, so.
And that is required. That is a Luca key from one of the alerts in the tower. That's an objective.
Nice.
And who knows, we still have a rogue D-Mist out there. Maybe D-Mist hiding in the seal cave.
Very, very true. I'm kind of feeling D-Mist here at the top of the tower, honestly. See if I'm right.
Yeah. D-Mist at the top of the tower is so annoying. Just so much HP to chew through.
Yeah, that's kind of an annoying spot for it. I mean, I can think of a couple worse elements for one, but...
And Commander making the play here to take on the Dark Elf in the Fey March. Pretty close to free here, because Crystal Sword Cecil decimates this enemy.
Yeah, very, very, very weak to Holy, so... Feels good when you can get at least one of the Fey March bosses done at this level.
Dark Elf says, "Holy, holy, holy. Oh, I'm dead." Oh, but the punch from the dragon form.
Ooh, yeah.
Targeting precisely the right person. The dragon form, no dummy, knows where the threat is.
Yang takes it though.
Yeah. Never doubted him. Elixirs for sale in the Fey March. That's interesting. You have the Earth. Most of our runners have the Earth Crystal. Might be time to pick up a couple of elixirs. The big knock against them is they're expensive, but you should have money at this point.
It's true. I personally never think to buy them.
Yeah. I never think to use them up to and including the final boss, because what if there's a final boss that you need all your elixirs for?
Well, yeah, I mean, that could happen.
And so Commander, the first of our runners to complete 2 objectives, taking out the Queen of the Feymarch. Gonna leave Val for later. Certainly not as free as Dark Elf and very annoying at best.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to tangle with Val at this point either. Or ever. And top of tower we have Calbrina, the other dancing enemy besides Luge. So we'll see. This not a terrible spot.
Yeah, Beauty discovering the toys in the attic. The very top floor of the tower. So with no free bosses on, you can't stop any of these dolls. So you have to be very, very careful that you're taking out the front row dolls and the back row dolls more or less equally, or else you're going to get some big doll action.
Oh, and we're not gonna. Yeah, that could we just quake them. Not gonna see the big doll tonight from Beauty. Oop, was that the adamant ore I just saw?
The adamant rock, yeah.
Nice. That's half an objective right there.
That is. So 1.5 objectives lurking in the tower. Not bad. And Commander following Beauty up the tower. So this is really turning into a race on the bottom side. Beauty has done fewer. Oh, that was. You almost called this Flossie.
Yeah. There's Demist. Not quite at the top, but definitely hanging out in the tower. I had a feeling.
Very much not as annoying in this spot.
No.
One shot, goodbye. And so long, Fair Dragon. You will not be missed.
So tower potentially quite loaded. We have one more item that Sid's crew is going to give us, and then we have a Demus check. So
yeah, 7 spots. We already have 1.5 objectives up here. So the tower is the play. Eiffel Tower. It works 100% of the time. Telling you.
Yeah, I feel like the tower key should always be in there, you know?
Always be in the tower?
Yeah, exactly. Where you need it.
I love that vanilla tower key. Because, you know, when you make that keyless tower play and the tower key is right there, you're like, oh,
it's a good feeling.
I'm the smartest dude. And so Beauty and Discovery will barely make it out with his life. We should really check those stairs.
You know, yeah, like got OSHA come in to inspect him. I think that was the pigtail there, so we do have a hook. We can turn it in if we feel like it, though that won't yield us a key item.
It won't, and it also will not yield an adamant armor, which is the big prize from the pigtail, but it does yield another high tier item, the one that I really like to see, because you know the big strong weapons are available in so many other places. The item that I really like to see from the Pinktail turn-in is a Moonveil.
Oh yeah, Moonveil is really, really useful in this flag set. If you remember to use it.
So Beauty, at 57 minutes, completes his first objective, and as I was saying before, we discovered the Demist in the cannon room. This is a really interesting race shaping up between Beauty and Commander Leonhard here. Even though Commander has more objectives completed, it's really close and too close to call, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I agree. This really could go either way for them.
Amarith does get her Sand Ruby, will get her Cecil, and we'll see if that encourages her to make the climb up ordeals and vanquish the dragon.
Should be doable at this point. I would still be feeling a little nervous though. That Ice 3 was pretty bad, but I think Amarith can do it.
Hey Flossie, He likes it.
Yeah.
Beauty likes it. The life staff. He likes it.
He likes it.
He didn't like it.
I didn't
He
like it
reset.
at all. I know. But the life staff.
Thanks, Mom.
The life staff is the socks of free enterprise. You don't want to get it for Christmas.
Now, are they like tube socks or crew cut?
Other wool awful socks that are like not quite tight enough. Just nightmare socks.
Yeah. And sometimes you can use them, but you never want to admit that this is actually perfect.
Yeah. See, chat loves getting socks for Christmas, so I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, you're all dorks.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not afraid to say it.
They're all getting socks.
Yeah, I guess we know what to get chat for the holidays. And so Beauty going to take on Wyvern here, and Amarith will be right behind. And if both of these runners get through at the first time of asking, our runners will have officially fought Wyvern to a draw. Might have to go to extra innings.
Yeah, it's been a particularly nasty Wyvern, but everybody is getting through it at this point. I'm sure Amarith will have little to no trouble.
Yeah, the good thing about Ice 3 is there's a kind of cap on it, and it's not a big bang. We could say that.
It is not a big bang.
And so
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Flossie.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's not tornado either.
I will say my absolute all-time favorite witch burn is Glance. I just love Glance.
Oh, Glance.
Especially when you have a spoon word in your party.
Oh, I can't eat. Yeah, no.
And he just starts slicing and dicing.
Oh man.
Well, our runners have passed the hour mark. Do want to thank our restreamer Dathis and our two trackers Zald and Ike here doing a tremendous job of just all kinds of key items in trap chests and all kinds of madness here. So thank them very much for their efforts, and thank you, Flossie Fern, my co-commentator. This has been a really, really exciting race so far, and the stakes are really high. It's an all-important game too for all of these teams.
Absolutely, it's very, very fun to do comms with you. It's our first time doing comms together. I think it's going quite well, honestly.
Yeah, I would say so.
And we're seeing the I like to call it the golf cart come out, the hovercraft for the first time.
Too bad you can't do wheelies on the hovercraft.
I feel like that'd be super dangerous.
I too like to live dangerously.
Yeah. Kids doing wheelies on that thing? Stop it.
Well, Commander's going to take the hovercraft to trade in both of his tails. And so we haven't seen anybody go down the hook route yet. We have seen a couple of tail... We have seen a couple of tail turn-ins. There are a couple of trap chests down that route. There is an extra character check. Is that at all tempting for you if you're one of the runners?
We do not have Darkness Crystal, so yeah, it would probably be in the back of my head at this point. Do I want to go down there? How do I feel about my characters? There's you can't get rid of Ed. He's gonna be hanging in there since he's the hero, but the party could still be shifting around at this point.
Yeah, there are two characters out there we don't yet know about. I mean, this party is crying out for a white mage. Even at this late stage, I think Rosa would be somebody that our runners would pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we would see anyone turn Rosa down at this point. And wow, the trap chest is the first check, the Staleman.
That's great great for our runners to see. You love to see it. Don't need to loot out the rest of it. There are lots of nooks and crannies on the hook route.
Yeah, first room, Staleman chest is always very, very nice.
And the reward for the pink tail, another white shirt. So now it's official. We have plain white peas.
We could use one. We can't use two at this point. Or I suppose Tella could use it.
Yeah, Tala can use it and improve to be the 5th best white mage.
Poor Tella, he always just gets the hand-me-downs. Everyone's like shining and glorious, and he's like, oh god, I guess I'll wear this guy a hat and nothing.
And Beauty's like, oh, I want a paladin. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Anything in the Eblan shop here? Not much.
No, I mean...
Sammy bow.
Yeah, so we saw Samurai Bow purchase. I mean, one could make a case for the Ogre Axe in certain circumstances, but Cecil's got the Crystal Sword, so we're fine.
And so going to dive down the route, at least to check out the character, most likely to check out that trap chest as well. As you said, Flossie, that Darkness Crystal still at large.
And we do have a summoner here waiting for us at the end of the cave here. Very interesting. I'm not sure that we saw a Bahamut summon anywhere, but I do believe we did see a Leviathan.
The Leviathan's for sale. Bahamut summon was the reward of the warrior chest.
Oh, okay. So that, yeah, some of our runners do have that in their back pocket then. I'm not 100% sure if Commander has it though.
I don't think Commander's taken on the warrior chest. It might be too late for Rydia though. We do have the Palom, and the Commander says that hit the bricks.
Not worth it.
She could have been really useful earlier, but her time has come and gone, it seems like.
Yeah, you kind of want her early, and with Bahamut, and the Stardust Rod, if possible.
Another early find on that Mad Ogre chest. Everything coming up Commander right now.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Beauty is in Cave Magnus. Gonna give us some harp. Amarith making her tower play, and this is a chance to gain a little ground on Crispy. Crispy in the Tower of Zot. There's not going to be much for him up here. This is kind of a wasted trip.
Yeah, I can't quite remember exactly what we got at the end of this, but I remember it not being that exciting.
And our tracker Ike here noting that Crispy did go to the Tower of Zot, did skip the trap chest that had the
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Did get the twin harp from the Flame Dog chest, but we'll see if that pans out. Beauty and Discovery going to wait and get the punishment inflicted. And Commander, whatever he got from the... Oh, he got the Baron Key from the Mad Ogres. Gotta walk that out.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah, and Commander is, so we'll see if he runs over there.
All right, so we've been talking a long time. What do you say we just keep on talking for the next couple minutes? What do you say, Flossie?
Yeah, let's just read from the phone book.
Don't worry, chat. I'm here for you. I'll let them keep talking. Wait, that's the side I'm supposed to be on, right?
So Xenocat informing us that that was from the in-game game Tiger Tiger from Xenoblade 2. The in-game arcade game music, that was very, very jaunty. That is a package, and Beauty not interested.
Yeah, definitely not anything that's going to move us forward at this point. We know where D-Mist is, and we really don't... We're not really angling for characters at this point, as much as a white mage would be nice.
Yeah, not going to sit through that entire cutscene just for a white mage, or just for anyone, really.
No, this is definitely kind of the point in the run where, you know, you kind of settle into what you have. You really aren't going to want to trade up or anything like that.
Commander took that Baron key and is chasing it down. Really, the only choice is to take on that. And Cecil, Dark Knight Cecil, is the King of Baron.
All right, so we're not going to see him on the moon, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Here, certainly not all that threatening, and enough HP that, yeah, he's getting decimated.
That's it.
So, you know, in an alternate timeline, the Dark Knight made it all the way to the throne before finally being vanquished by his better self. We truly live in the best of all possible worlds.
You know, that's a good way to look at it.
But have you considered third forum? Or third palace, I should say.
Yeah, third Balam. You know, you got Crystal Sword Cecil hanging out. Like, this is fine. He's all the white mage you need.
And is that, was that the elder of Mysidia taking on Palom and Porum's job for them and blocking the walls?
You know, that would be nice to see. The guy that sent the children up the mountain with the Dark Knight, yeah.
That is huge.
Finally,
Commander's in go mode.
Wow, okay. So there we are.
And he has his choice of how he wants to do it. He's got the Luca key, and he can go to defeat Val at the Feymarch spot. And then 2 out of 3 of Cape Bahamut, the Masamune Altar, and the Ribbon Room.
It looks like he's going for the Luca play at the moment.
Yeah, definitely the first thing to do. Luca, the Seal Cave, not a huge check. It's not as long as Cave Magnus, for example, although it seems like it's a long time, and it's just a beast in the vanilla game. But it's amazing how much quicker you can do things when you don't have random encounters every 2 steps.
I know, yeah, first learning the rando, it was like, wow, these dungeons are kind of small. I didn't realize. Especially this one.
Yeah, when you don't have to go through all of the doors every single time. And no rope of shame for Commander either.
Looks like Crispy's going to take on some Feymarch bosses here, sleeping it off in the inn.
Yeah, staying at the Fey Marriott. 1,200 GP a night, like we're made of money.
Yeah, what is this?
This is extortion. And Amarith taking on Dwarf Castle. Now taking on that Ashura with a Paladin Cecil in tow. Amarith did get off to a slow start, but since then has been making her way through the seed.
I like seeing the wall cast on Azura. She's gonna cure you. She'll do half the work for you when you do that. It's another good thing about having Atella in this flag set.
Ooh, Officer Soldier in this spot. So even though it's not free, and they will still hit, the physical attack, as you can see, is pretty manageable. And if you just get rid of the 3 soldiers, the officer will just run away. nobody's really hurting for experience, so probably not worth it to keep all the soldiers up just to get that big chunk of experience from the officer. Much faster to just get rid of the soldiers in the front.
Yeah, I'm sure Commander's kind of got his eyes on the prize now and isn't going to mess around too much with the officer.
So Beauty following into the hook route. So now we're seeing that that the play by Commander has given him a big advantage here.
Yeah, things can change pretty quickly in this game for sure.
Commander completes the sealed cave. Can't exit out of here because of story.
Yeah, my least favorite spell in the game, Warp. I really dislike doing it in here. But it is the fastest way to get out.
It is. I find myself like doing the every other room warp in
I like
this.
that too. Yeah, for whatever reason, it gives me like a sense of control that every room does. I think it's the menuing more than anything.
Part of it is I'm a terrible menuer.
You know, me too. So Crispy's through the Dark Elf fight there and is saving up, so I wonder if we're going to see a Val attempt here.
Yeah, this would be the first attempt at Val Valis that we've seen. And Commander, I think, is going to try and get all of his business done on the moon. Would rather tangle with those 3 moon bosses than take on that Val.
Yeah, let's go, Commander. Vel, even, as leveled as Commander is, and with Crystal Sword Cecil, it's still going to be a tricky fight, so I definitely understand this move quite a bit.
Now, I cannot remember, or maybe I never knew, what the magic defense is at the king spot for Val. If in her tornado form, can she be hit with magic?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head either. Douthus in chat is saying no.
No.
No. And Beauty opts to trade his Palom for Rydia. Going for the Bahamut there.
Yeah, so the Bahamut is kind of a higher ceiling spell, and should get a good slingshot on Rydia from these Mad Ogres, especially if he gets some life glitches off, and as long as he's able to keep Rydia alive. Keep Rydia alive! Keep Rydia alive! Mad Ogres are punching in the face, gotta keep Rydia alive!
She's looking pretty armored. She just took a punch for like 16, so I think we're probably golden here.
Oh, and she starts off with 80 health because Beauty's already gone through Dwarf Castle. She's already grown up.
Sure. Yeah. So the difference between 30 and 80 is a little negligible.
Amherst taking on the Sylph Trap chest. We haven't seen these yet. It's possible the Legend Sword could be down here.
Yeah, this is a cave I dislike doing. It's scattered, it's slightly confusing. You need to cast Float or Cure. The enemies are, they're not hard, but some of them can give you status effects, as we've seen up there. So I try to route it in as little as I possibly can.
Commander Leonhardt up on the moon, seeing a karate man up here. Goes fast, hits hard.
Yeah, kind of definitely like a punchy, hitty karate, as you might expect.
And since no free bosses are on, you can't story this fight. So after 2 kicks, if free bosses are on, if Paladin Cecil hits him, Young goes, ouch, and then falls over. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't care who's hitting him.
No, you gotta whittle down all of his HP in this flag set, and in a spot like Bahamut here, it can be dicey, as we're seeing here with Commander, who's going for his second attempt.
Yeah, gonna try it again. Beauty and Discovery now onto Baron. And Commander gonna take on the Karate Man again. Hopefully he knows Kung Fu.
You know?
I always wondered where that sword came from.
I always figured it was because he was kind of evil and possessed and not really like using his, true skills. I don't know. I tend to backfill in my head some of the, the
We all
plot
know
stuff.
only evil people can have swords.
Yeah. Well I'm not saying that. Look, I haven't thought this through.
Yeah. Crispy still taking on that demonic tornado, which sounds like it should be like a dessert.
The demonic tornado.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd eat 10,000 calories of that.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't?
And Amarith taking on the wall balls here.
Yeah, one of those bosses, as I said, that can definitely leave you with a bunch of status effects, so we are seeing that on Amarith's screen there.
Hey, Pom-Pom, give me that ball ball. Ball.
I don't think I've ever said that correctly in my whole life.
Now, if you really want to give yourself the giggle, just imagine Homestar saying Mordor.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Just a dragon whip from the Mulballs, and Commander hoping third time is the charm here. Just giving Beauty a chance to get back into this race.
And Crispy is through that nasty, nasty Val.
Very well done by Crispy.
Yeah.
Crispy's really impressed me in this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's playing really, really well, really smoothly. And that was the first attempt too, I believe.
Yes.
Just an apple for the prize, but it is an objective, so that feels pretty good.
Yeah, and and Crispy halfway through his objectives. Now still has to discover that darkness crystal, which we know is absolutely required. So still has to wander around a little bit, but it never has to go back into the Fey March again.
Right, and we do see Crispy looking like he's setting up for some trap chests here in Sylph Cave, so I don't think we've seen anything too exciting in there from Amarith's dive, but we'll see. There's quite a few in there. I believe there's 7.
So Amarith has a spoon lit up on her side.
Okay.
That would be something.
So I believe, yeah, that is something. That is definitely something.
And Crispy going to follow her into the dark.
And the spoon must have come from Sylph, right? I think
Yes.
I blinked and missed it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It came, Bahamut Orb was the other highlight, but the spoon was from one of these chests. I don't think it's from the Mulball Dark Tree fight, but I could be
Gotcha.
wrong.
Yeah, between Spoonward and Crystal Sword Cecil, that's quite a bit of firepower.
Yeah, Crispy gets
yeah.
the Bahamut Orb. But yeah, now Amarith has a Spoon Man, and just has that much more attacking power on her side. Spoon Man.
I know. I was thinking it too. So
And Commander, done
Yeah.
banging his head against that particular wall. There's the karate he'd rather see, but that's a dubiate.
Yeah, not too exciting. So we are going to see the entire lunar subterrain tonight. The long walk.
At least that Yang not trying to hit you, and
That's
doing.
true. Yeah, that Yang's just kind of waving at you. You know, he's fine if you reject him. It's cool.
So Beauty now up on the moon. And one other thing that Commander did that Beauty did not is complete Luca Cave, the Seal Cave, before leaving the blue planet. So Beauty wants to get done everything he can on the moon and then return to the blue planet to finish off this seed. We'll see if that karate fight is going to be a really tough roadblock for him.
Yeah, I think karate there is going to give everybody a little bit of trouble if they attempt it. A lot of trouble, I should say.
Yeah. Oh, he got punched right in the face. Beauty not scared. Gonna take it
Going
on.
for it. Yep.
Yeah. And we'll see. I did see a couple crystal rings on. Riddy has a glass hat that is gonna go on Cecil. So, glass hat, crystal ring, Cecil. He's gonna put all of his eggs into the paladin basket.
Makes sense to me. He's definitely going to be your ace in the hole here if you're going to get through it. Oh, and we see Commander is taking the ribbon room to scoop up some extra experience here. So we have a CPU fight. This is not required. Oh yeah, it is. Actually, it is required. I was thinking it was White Sphere. Never mind.
Yep, ribbon room is required. Also gets you the chance at 2 nice things. And you know how we were saying that a moon veil would be really nice? A moon veil would be really nice against this karate fight.
Really, really nice. Yeah. So we have 2 chests in here, and obviously the Masamune altar is on the table as well as an objective. So
yeah.
Yeah, I like Ribbon Room over White Spear check any day of the week.
Very much so. All right, and so Beauty gonna try it and 1v1 this karate fight. Has a couple of blanks up on Cecil. Those kicks will still come through, but they're doing about 100 apiece. So should have the time to do damage, and we'll see how hard the sword swings hit.
Oh, wow.
He's done it.
Is through. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Makes him say ouch the hard way.
Yeah.
And gets the objective done.
We worked for that ouch. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That could be very consequential here.
And since Cecil is the one who's still up, you don't even have to revive anybody to exit.
You love to see it.
Ah, and Amarith is playing with the Toad Lady.
Good old Toad Lady.
Crispy gets another Excal. Thanks for nothing, Edge. Thanks for not being here.
Yeah, right? I got all this stuff for you to dart? Come on.
What do you think we pay you for?
Yeah, I know. Slacker.
Nobody wants to show up in seeds anymore.
Toad Lady, just to drive the point home, gives the Masamune sword for Edge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? And so, Commander did take down the Defender, now trying to take on the back orb, the big CPU.
Very doable fight. It's just long and annoying.
It's just slow. And the CPU, like, it reminds me of rebooting my computer, because it just seems stuck on 59% for, like, 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, what are you doing? I know you're there.
Oh, and Amarith got the Legend Sword from Sylph.
Oh, nice. All right.
This gives her a path here against Crispy.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fancy something for Eddie here.
Oh, and Crispy does get the Legend Sword as well. Ooh, the Requiem Harp.
So that one is interesting. I believe it will it lowers agility. Is that correct?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Flossie, I'll ask for chat's help on this one. It does lower the stats according to chat.
Okay.
But yeah, you could use it as kind of an anchoring device.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that might be good in a pinch, but I would probably stick with the spoon.
Yeah. The spoon's just much more fun. And that, one of the things about Cockle Shop is on S Wild, it's more often than not just total garbage. And no exception for that Cockle Shop, Archer Bow and Short Swords and Dragon Webs. Yippee.
Yeah, it's hard to not get your hopes up, even though you know that shop isn't necessarily going to be any better than any other.
And so Commander Leonhardt, through that fight, has 4 objectives done: Beauty and Discovery, entering the Ribbon Room right behind. And Commander did get the Avenger from the Ribbon Room, so it's not a Moon Veil, but that Cecil will be swinging away.
Yeah, you really love to see the Avenger in this flag set because Bacchus wines are a little few and far between. You can't buy them anywhere, so this is, and obviously there's no white mage here, so this is a good little source of Zerk. You don't have to rely on slow Tella.
Come on and come to the place where fun never ends. Come on in, it's an objective with Mylon and friends. Oh, friends.
Mylon and friends.
So yeah, Mylon does lit 1, and this is about the place with the highest lit 1 damage, and it's still not all that much.
Yeah, I'm not foreseeing any major problems here with this boss.
Definitely don't take down Mylon before the gas, because the gas do get very, very angry when Mylon is gone and start hitting for a lot. But that should not be an issue.
No, I've actually never done or seen that, so I should probably do it once just to have the experience.
Yeah. Well, in a high physical spot, they really leave a mark. Now, Lit 1 counter did do a bunch against Cecil, but against Palom, against Eddie, they have good defensive equipment on, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, again, I think we're good here.
Crispy grabbing the hovercraft. Crispy did also get his Requiem Harp, but he knows there's only so many other places to go for key items, and the hook route gives 2 chances of it, and he's going to get his Darkness Crystal soon.
Yep, and I believe Amarith is setting up for her Feymarch fight here.
Yeah, she's down in the underground. She has the levels. She just did the warrior chest a little bit ago. If you can take on these Feymarch bosses and never have to return, that just makes you feel really good.
It really does. It's definitely in this flag set the first kind of like scary point you get to, and once you're through the Feymarch, you feel pretty good about the rest of the seed. Till you find DKC at Misamane Altar, of course. But that is not going to happen here.
So Crispy did the Staleman chest and immediately took off. Gonna do that Twin Harp check.
Yeah, going for the old Twin Harp gamble here.
and Commander Leonhardt through the Masamune altar does get a moon veil.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, jamming on back to that karate.
Yeah, that should be feeling much more confident heading back to the karate fight. And that's all he needs to win the game.
Yeah, that's got to be a very exciting feeling.
Yeah, the Ribbon Room gave an Avenger, the Masamune altar gave a moon veil, and that's all. You could, once you get into the fight, you can put down the controller.
Yep, totally. Well, you gotta, avenge, but then you can put down the controller. Go get a sandwich.
A victory sandwich, it looks like, for Commander Leonhardt, as he is ahead of Beauty and Discovery, and Beauty doing the moon bosses, but hasn't taken on either of the Fame Arch bosses, hasn't done Luca caves, so even though he's in a similar space physically, he is well behind on objectives.
Also, I want to jump in for a quick second. We are not going to get a reprise of music. Crispy's just having a little bit of an audio issue, which is why we swapped off of him in the first place. So, unfortunately, no Xenogears reprise music. Apologies to Xenocat in the audience.
Well, we hope Crispy is enjoying it on his own. Probably will enjoy the music a lot more than the song.
Xenoblade 2, my mistake.
Look,
there are so many Xeno games. My bad, Xenocat. I apologize. My knowledge is, as a restreamer, it hurts. I apologize.
Oh, the other thing in the Ribbon Room was a life staff. So.
Oh, okay. Well, chat should be happy about their socks then.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the Avenger got more attention in chat than the life staff did.
You know. And Cecil is avenging.
Swinging from the chandelier and doing quite a bit of damage against this Karate Man. And still got bows and arrows on that Eddie, because never went into Sylph Cave, doesn't have a spoon.
That's true, showing that not necessarily needed to get through this karate.
And you can see how many more levels Commander has than Beauty did at this point.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And he is through.
Just has to get through the annoying text.
Oh, the text boxes. Come on. The true boss.
Thanks, I don't need arty arrows. Thanks, don't need them. Objective complete, and that's it. Commander Leonhardt has won. And Balam Cricket Club takes the victory for the week. Now moves to 3-0 on the tournament.
GG, I think we are joined by Commander in chat right now. Well played. How are you feeling right now?
So,
this was rough.
Yeah.
Rude roll.
Well, you knew it was from Dathis, so you knew that was a possibility.
Right?
First of all, how did you feel about that Wyvern at back attack?
I called for Ice 3 Wyvern at Masamune in my first race. Apparently he was just delaying.
It's just a little late.
Saw the hit points and I'm like, not quite. We're definitely coming back later. I've already seen Cecil. I already have Tella. I'm just going to keep an eye on my hit point totals. Get to the point where we can survive that and be done with it.
Yeah, there wasn't any runner that got through that on their first attempt by any means. So, yeah.
There's a lot of that going around this seed, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Well, what really put distance in between you and Beauty was you dove the hook route much earlier than Beauty did. What was kind of your impetus to go there?
It had 2 checks, and it was part of a path that I was on. I was just following up on things I had already found. Where was that hook again? Help me remember, please.
the hook was the Frame Arch Phoebe.
Oh, okay.
Frame Arch Phoebe. What
That
am
took
I saying?
that took a long time to get to that Fame Arts 3B. I was busy bonking a pan and doing other things. And if I remember right, when I did finally come down to Fame Arch and grab the hook, I knocked out the Asura spot. Thank you, Crystal Sword Cecil, as we always say. Mostly it was just that it was 2 checks. I think... Right, I got out of Fame Arch, I did the tower, because tower is all of its checks. And by then I had both Rad and Pinktail. So I went and turned those in, that didn't work. And, you know, I was kind of near Eblan at the time and had a hovercraft near me, and it's like, alright, we'll continue dragging this hovercraft around and get some things handled. I think that's how it went down anyway.
So that's about how it went down from where I was sitting. Did you feel like, you said the seed you felt pretty rude? Did you feel like you were scrambling at any point, or
Yeah.
you know, did you feel behind? Yeah.
I felt like it was going to be rude for everybody, not just me. That being said, if somebody found the way through the struggles faster than me, you know, I sat for a long time at that evil wall on Hobbs at the beginning, and from that point on, I knew I had spent time. But when Tella didn't show up elsewhere, like, I got done with that evil wall, and I'm like, please don't be Tella at Baron Inn. I'm gonna feel really bad. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bounced off the Wyvern. Yeah, that's fine. Went to Fabul, still looking for darkness. Oh, hey, it's an alt gauntlet. You know what? This is fine because board AI keeps knocking my Palom down and I just can't get levels on them. And I finally get to Eblan. It's like, long story short, yes.
Yeah.
Felt behind the whole time,
Yeah,
and it especially did not feel good to have an hour go by and still not have darkness in hand. It's like,
Sure.
come on. It's
Absolutely.
probably a music. I faded music. It's probably music. No, it's got to be a dwarf. You know what? Whatever. I've already faded them. I'm not going to them now.
Honestly, you from what you're saying, you had a good sense of like where you were at and where everyone else was at. It was just, you know, in some parts it was just kind of a slog, and like you said, it was just, you know, a matter of who was going to get through that slog quickest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and literally everybody bounced off that Wyvern. It was,
Yeah. You'd have to.
Surprise.
Yeah, you'd have to fade ordeals a long time to not bounce off that Wyvern. And if you faded it that long, you probably committed to that fade. Which, with this party, would be a bold choice. But, you know, maybe you never ran Zot. Maybe you never got a Cecil.
Yeah, and I think Cecil was also available from the Sand Ruby, so I know
Yeah.
folks checked Kaipo, and that was motivating them as well.
Yeah, that was part of my motivation as well. I dipped in on Kaipo after looting the Watery Pass, saw Cecil there, and was like, oh, hey, cool. And nothing but an Excal in the weapon shop, which was amusing.
So Balam Cricket Club is really making a sticky wicket of this entire tournament, now up to 3-0. So
Nicely done.
you know, who's giving the motivational speech? Who's the kind of spiritual leader of this team?
We're each playing our part, honestly. I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm nominally the captain, which means that I make a final decision after everyone chats. Firebird Lover has been, in addition to handling his own races, done a good job of keeping up with what's going on in the league on spreadsheets and keeping us posted. And Funnel Cakes and Infinius are also doing a good job of, as we all are, watching each other's races and giving feedback and handling their own races as well. Very much a team effort.
That is very, very solid, and I'm just sitting here like, oh man, you're doing spreadsheets?
I didn't say I was doing spreadsheets. I'm still in tax season.
There you go.
You'd think with the deadline gone that I'd be past it, but no, I get long hours till the end of the month. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
This is the only place where you're not doing spreadsheets, I guess.
Pretty much. FBL's on it, and I'm letting him handle it.
Well, congratulations on the 3-0 start, Commander, and best of luck the rest of the way. Flossie, any further questions for Commander Leonhardt tonight?
No further questions. Very, very well played. Very fun to watch, and always a pleasure, Commander. GG.
Thank you. Thank you, Flossie and Cheap, for handling the comms. I'm looking forward to watching it back. Iker and Zalde, good job lighting up. You had plenty to light up. Took us forever to find that darkness. Athos! I mean, this wasn't DKC at Giant, but it was still a mess. It was a well-hidden darkness and a rude overworld. So, ugh. Oof. Thank you all.
Thank you, Commander.
And so Amarith now going through the sealed cave. Once she gets done with this, she will only need one moon boss. Unfortunately, she does not yet have that darkness crystal. She will have accomplished everything she could do on the blue planet after she gets done with the sealed cave, but we'll still have to poke around. Crispy has summoned the whale and will need to take on 2 of the spots, Cape Bahamut, Matsumune Altar, or the Ribbon Room.
Yeah, and at this point, that karate is still waiting. Doable but difficult. Looks like we're going right for the lunar subterrain, though. Which we know is just going to be a boring old Dupe Yang.
Yeah. Yep, we know that, but, Crispy needs 2 bosses, and there are 2 bosses down here, so if you can take care of both bosses in the same place, and not have to hop in the whale twice, which you would have to do in Cave Bahamut, why not do that? Beauty is still running. We see the screen. We're working on that. Beauty still going, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with his stream soon.
So, just a little just popping in, just a little behind the scenes. Their running is still going. The timer on his stream is still there. It's something else going on with the actual game feed. Yeah, so timer is still running. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's it should be going, but I mean,
and I guess he really wants us to know that he has 29 tier 2s. Just
I'll never forget it.
There will be a test.
Yes.
Amarith is through the seal cave, and she doesn't have all that many checks to do at this point, so hopefully she will get led in the right direction. And going to take the long way out without the warps.
Yeah, again, doing the warp in sealed cave, one of my least favorite things, so I definitely don't blame her for that.
Like Crispy heading down to the bottom of the lunar subterranean. Crispy is fair to say is in the lead at this point, just because he has the darkness crystal, which is hard required, and Amarith does not. He is fighting to keep his team Big Trouble in Little Kaipo in this. If he pulls out the win, the series will be tied at 1-1 for this week, meaning Game 3 will be the rubber match. It will be the decider.
And Crispy getting into that CPU fight, settling in. It's always long.
And Beauty now taking on that Dark Elf.
All right, we're back. And Amaranth is deciding to do the harp check, so we'll have a round. I guess round technically 3 of our harp, even though we've only heard one playthrough, I believe.
Yep. And the magnetic field will go into effect. And I've always wondered how the magnetic field gets broken just by the power of music. And I know I shouldn't think all that much about it, but it just nags at me, you know?
Magnets, how do they work?
Yeah. Yeah, the auto-tune song.
Yeah.
And Beauty and Discovery absolutely decimates that Dark Elf. Does not have to do any more objectives. That is 6. And that is GG's to Beauty and Discovery.
Beauty. Well played, Beauty and Discovery. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, that darkness crystal was more than buried. You know, and the funny thing is I probably statistically should have went to self-cave, but I'm glad I stuck with that awful chain and got value, even if it wasn't winning value.
Yeah, that chain is not something you see every day, having to go all the way to the very bottom of the Fame Arch, go through the Hook route, then go to Baron. Ugh.
Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of kind of snags and cul-de-sacs in this seed. How did you feel when you were running it in the beginning?
That overworld was really kind of mean. That wipe to evil wall had me shaken up a little bit, and you know, I kind of went into it thinking, oh, I'll pick up a Stardust, or I'll pick up a Artemis bow or a Sammy bow or something, and nowhere to be found. But thank goodness for those dancing daggers. That pretty much made the overworld at least somewhat passable.
Yeah, the vanilla strats for the win.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the loot was a little lackluster on the overworld. You know, yeah, that evil wall was nasty. Obviously, Wyvern was ridiculous. Everybody kind of butted their head against it.
Okay, good to know I wasn't alone on that one, because I was like,
no.
This is trouble. And then I saw the Ice 3 drop, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I know it's not Magma Key. See you later.
Right.
Yeah, that Wyvern went 4-0 against everybody early on, and everybody went up there once and went back down. But yeah, you made that karate fight on the moon look seamless, and that Cecil was really the hero for you there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the things I learned when I competed in Adamant Cup is Crystal Sword Cecil above all things. That guy just packs such a punch, and so I knew if I could get him off and rolling and to the races that I'd be able to get there. I mean, it was skin of my teeth. I think I had maybe that next punch put me down, but whew, somehow I managed.
Yeah, no, that was very well done, and a real difficult spot for that boss for sure. Nobody really wants to see him there.
Yeah, he's a little tricky because, you know, you can put up your blinks, but the kick goes through the blinks. And so even though Cecil could, at full health, survive one punch, those kicks that came out while he was blinked whittled him down just enough that he would have, I think, been down with one hit.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, that was very, very well played.
Thank you.
Well, this result does drop Big Chocobo Storage Wars to 1 and 2. Although your team really has played well so far in the tournament. What are you looking forward to going forward?
You know, this is our second to last week of Potion Party. I have enjoyed this flag set, but I'm looking forward to Moonveil Mixer. You know, kind of going back to a little bit of our roots here and going back to Z fights and everything like that. There's certainly a lot of unique aspects of the Potion Party flag set that I don't think I'll miss. I don't think I'll miss how terrified I am of DKC. You know,
it's a unique feeling.
Yeah, and I will say this flag set has taught me one thing. It's taught me that you can deal with fast spots, quote unquote, unanchored. You know, because you essentially have to.
Yeah, that's very true. I think like doing this kind of flag set and then going back to something more traditional should feel pretty good.
All right, so this other race is about to wrap up. Any final thoughts, Beauty, before we let you go?
I'm very curious. Did everyone else end up with Cecil? I feel like that bed check was just about the only one, and I don't think if you peeked him, he necessarily routed in a San Ruby check.
Well, there was also Cecil available in the Tower of Zot.
True that. So I must not have been the only one who went through that trap.
Everybody did end up with a Cecil. Well, GG's Beauty. It was great fun to watch you, and we look forward to seeing you down the road.
Yeah,
GG.
and thank you very much, and thank you very much to the Restream team tonight. Y'all are fantastic for putting the show together and making this interesting to watch. So appreciate it.
Thanks, Beauty, and GG's. And Crispy Slick has done it, has won it for his team in a time of 1:54:30 or thereabouts. Crispy Slick completes all 6 objectives and wins for Big Trouble in Little Kaipo. Game 3 will decide the winner of that one.
Yeah, GG's Crispy. Very, very well run. Let's see if we can get him into the room here.
Yeah, and we were talking about that Luca key in the tower. Turns out, didn't need it.
Didn't need the Luca key, yep. Yeah, totally.
Just made it look easy, and Sealed Cave is miserable enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, especially when you do the work glitch already, it always kind of feels like, do I have to do this? Come on, what is this? No prize at the end? I need motivation.
Right. Give me a reason. What's
my motivation? Exactly.
But yeah, that was a really really well run race. Crispy really showing us something in this tournament. So good to see names that maybe aren't as familiar to everyone really putting in the work and getting the job done.
Yeah, there's been like a lot of sleepers in this tournament for sure. There's some really, really good runners coming up. And I think this flag set is kind of a little bit of a trial by fire for newer runners as well, because it's so different. It's definitely nothing like your basic, like, intermediate seed from the website. So people who play this are definitely going to get good.
Yeah, and one of the things that most impresses me, like if you watch the Pink Pup League or if you just watch the newer runners in this tournament, is how does everybody know where to go in Eblan Castle? Because I still can't figure it out.
For me, the problem is if I'm doing reset out of the loot in the beginning, I'll go, of course, it's in this chest, and then and then I reset and completely forget, like, what cluster of 3, which one it is. And we have Crispy in the booth right now. Crispy, GG's, very, very well run. We're all very impressed. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Yeah, you're...
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, beautiful.
So that was a very rude overworld. What did you think of all the tough bosses there?
I was nervous going all the way through it. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to finish under the 2-hour mark, to be honest. That last check on the Baron key and the darkness, that was kind of frustrating me a little bit, but I'm glad we got through it.
Yeah, I mean, we actually were commenting on your play. You did seem composed and smooth throughout your run. I know there was like a lot of weird snags and different trails you had to go down. How did you feel when you were running it? Did you feel like you were behind? Were you feeling confident?
I was feeling confident up until when I decided to go to the Sylph Cave instead of chase down some of the other checks. And then I really started to feel like I was behind when I got the trap chest in Eblan Cave and then jumped right out and went to the Cave Magnus, only to go back get the Baron key. At that point, I thought I'd already lost that match.
Right, I definitely feel you on that. Like that check, the harp check is just, you know, so brutal when it doesn't work out. It's such a time suck. So yeah.
But no, I had a blast with it. It was great. I look forward to doing more of these.
Yeah.
So I don't know how
Sorry.
much experience you have with Witchburn, but how about that Ice 3 Wyvern in the back attack spot?
Yeah, I was at that point. I was like, no, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on that one. See if we can find someone to tank it.
Yeah, I mean, and we're telling everybody, but you know, you were definitely not the only one. Everyone kind of ran into that brick wall, so it was, you know, everybody sort of like, you know, Picard forehead-handed when we saw that. So
And when I decided to give it a shot again, I backed out and ran up to Fabul to get some Artemis arrows just in case. And yeah,
yeah, you know, speaking of that, like the loot in the beginning, or not the loot, but the shopping in the beginning was like a little light. It was just not quite enough, not quite what you want. You know, we would have loved to see an Artie bow or, you know, a Stardust rod or something like that. But like you made do with what you had very, very well.
thank you. I appreciate that. I'm still learning this game, and I mean, I played this game when I was a kid, but you know, getting into this community, watched everyone racing over the past like 6-7 months, and decided to get into it over December, and it's been a blast. I love the community.
Yeah, definitely top tier community for sure.
We would say that though.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. I didn't mean me.
And so is this your first victory in the tournament, Crispy?
Yes, it is.
Does it feel as good as you thought it would?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I woke my wife up. She already went to sleep.
Well done. You certainly deserve that. So you keep this week alive for your team. Big Trouble in Little Kaipo. How are you liking the team aspect of this tournament?
It's definitely interesting. I didn't get to see any when I was watching some of the restream stuff, any team competitions, but I've been liking it, getting together with the team and strategizing, and you know, everyone watching each other's runs and commenting on them, and you know, providing input. It's I think it's really helping some of us new people grow.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great structure.
And so I gotta ask, who's giving the pep talks on your team? Who's the locker room leader, so to speak?
Well, the one that's been one free Fitz has been the one that's been kind of leading the charge on that. As interesting, I was kind of expecting Rex to take the lead on that, but they've definitely stepped up and kind of cheered us on the whole way.
That's great that one free flex is stepping up when Rex is off gallivanting in a tower somewhere.
Yeah, checking that D-miss.
All right, Crispy. Well, any final thoughts on this seed, on your tournament so far? What you're looking forward to?
Just looking forward to growing as a player and getting the Twitch channel running a little bit smoother. It's definitely a work in progress, but I feel like I'm getting better every week. So I look forward to the next flag sets.
Everybody go follow Crispy immediately, please.
Yeah, if tonight's play is any indication, and we think it is, Crispy will be well worth a follow. So GG's once again, congrats on the win, Crispy.
Thank you very much. GG's to everybody.
Thank you. GG's.
And so Crispy's official time, 1:54:18, and as Crispy said, Flossie, under 2 hours in this seed, really a very good time for how rude this seed has been.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be happy to subdue this particular seed myself, for sure.
Well, you can probably do it now that you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
It.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try that. This is gonna be great for my game.
Yeah, you're gonna dive the hook route early and feel like a genius.
Oh wait, you want me to roll you a nice practice seed, Flossie? I can do that for you.
Actually, yeah, you should. You should totally do that.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not that I've rolled hard required darknesses every single seed that I've done so far. Super buried.
Right.
Well, Amarith is summoning the whale, and I can't help it any longer. I avoided it all throughout the race, but I do have to say that I really wanted to ask, what are you doing for Labor Day? Your friend Crispy, Schenectady, New York.
I thought you had forgotten about that. We discussed this.
The problem is it lodges itself into my brain like a splinter.
You gotta get it out somehow, right?
Right, and usually that's with a claw hammer. And Amarith only has one boss to complete, so Cave Bahamut, the logical play here.
Yeah, given Cave Bahamut a shot, it's the quickest and easiest check. We all know we do have that karate waiting for her here, but yeah, she's gonna give it a shot here.
And so Cave Bahamut, another one of those much quicker checks in Free Enterprise than in Final Fantasy IV, because you could turn off the kind of trap tiles here that summon behemoths, who are big and nasty.
Yeah, decent grind in other flag sets, depending, but we don't want to see them here. They're not going to give us any experience.
And so, doing boffo damage with a leveled up Yang, with a Spoon Word, with a Crystal Sword Cecil, this should have enough HP on everybody and a Blinkcaster in Tella to dispose of this karate man. Amarith should be completed soon.
Absolutely, yeah. She's got all the tools she needs right here.
One of the things we didn't mention was that Crispy did take care of Mylon with a Meteo.
I did see that out of the corner of my eye, yeah, the old swag kill.
Yes, love to see it. And we'll see if Amarith is going for the same thing here.
Look at that, we're doing it.
Meteo to the face.
Not quite, but we're almost there. I feel it. There we go, and she is through. GG.
Yep, that is 6. That's all you need. And Amarith in second place with a time of 2:07:19 or so. And really impressed me how Amarith, everybody had some troubles in the overworld. Amarith really kind of hit the wall hard a little bit, but she picked herself back up and really ran quite well. Did a lot of things over the course of the seed.
Yeah, I mean, completely solid play from Amarith tonight, for sure. It's a challenging one. There's like a lot of paths to take here.
Yeah, and not a not a clear path. A couple of divergent paths to get everything you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are joined by Amarith. GG's tonight, Amarith. Well played.
GG's, Amarith.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean that one honestly, it was tricky. It was rough. There was lots of snags. There was lots of, I mean, what about that wyvern? Come on.
Yeah, that was discouraging.
Yeah, I mean, discouraging. And again, we're telling everybody, but everybody kind of butted their head against it. So it wasn't just you. But yeah, when you're running, obviously, seeing something like that can make you feel a little tilty. But yeah, I mean, so how did you feel about the overworld? Were you satisfied with the amount of gear you had, or did you feel like a little
The
behind
early
on that?
game really threw me because you saw I went to Eblan first and I was like, where's all the money? There's no money here. What's going on? And then I got to the shop and there's like, okay, there's literally no mage here. What is happening? Where is all the stuff? I thought there was supposed to be money in these treasure chests and items in these shops, but there's not.
It was key item light on the overworld too.
Yeah, and the shops, the best maybe you could get was a mute knife or a dancing dagger for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think we maybe had a samurai bow hanging out too. That was like, almost pretty good.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think that came along until much later. Certainly not in time to help on the overworld.
yeah, and the seed just didn't play to the way that I like to tend to route these seeds, so it didn't really help much. That weird change just to get Darkness Crystal out of the Baron, that
Oh
was,
yeah.
ooh, that was a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, there wasn't really like one solid routing path that we saw. We saw some people converge a little bit, but everybody kind of did their own thing with this one, which is it's something you kind of see a lot with Potion Party. It's kind of just like you do what you can when you can.
Yeah, the big thing was just like getting the Twin Harp and then eventually getting the Earth Crystal, just being like, I don't want to go there.
Right, right. I know. The crowd loves Twin Harp, but the runner doesn't.
Right. Well, one thing that really impressed me was your performance in Sylph Cave. That was a very clean Sylph Cave. Did you feel at that point like you were going a little bit more smoothly?
I was hoping that like if I found Darkness Crystal there, like things would be going my way, just because like I like to use Sylph Cave in this flag set kind of just as like a train, because like you can get a lot of EXP out of there really quickly.
I mean, honestly, that's a good way to look at Sylph Cave. I mean, some of us are Sylph Cave avoiders, so.
And it's 7 items, so it's really packed. So it's really hard to like argue it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
At least in
and
my opinion.
It was really fruitful in this particular seed too. So yeah, I mean, well done.
It's just not with the right stuff, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Legend Sword, which when you got it, Crispy had not yet gotten it, so we thought that might be a path forward for you. But it turned out not to have anything else that was absolutely required, but it did have that spoon.
Yeah, the spoon was nice. I was so thankful to see that. It's like, yes, finally equipment that isn't Excaliburs and Masamunes and all this equipment that I can't use.
Right, where was Edge the whole time? I mean, he's beating
He's
us
on
over
vacation.
the head with it. Absolutely. He's in another game.
Your Edge is in another castle.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, nobody's in Eblan Castle. It's haunted. Well, your themed in the city and a comedy club, great name, by the way, but going to a decisive game 3. And so, how are you liking the team approach and how you feel about your team?
Oh, we've been having a blast. We've just came mostly just to have fun with this because, everyone on our team, like mostly at least casually plays free enterprise, and a couple of us a little bit more seriously. So it was just like let's just do something as friends. It's just a good like friend fun activity. So I really like the team aspect of like when you have games like this, and I just really like stuff like this.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key there. If it's fun, it's good. Full stop.
Yeah, and that's really what the community is all about is playing with friends and having a good time. So we're glad that this tournament is encouraging that for you and for everyone.
Yeah, and now next week I get to take a week off and figure out the other flag set and see how things are gonna roll on there.
Wait, there's another flag set now? Oh no.
Oh,
A
Flossie,
whole nother
didn't anybody
one.
tell you?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's a problem for future Flossie, I guess.
Exactly. It totally is. But yeah, well run. Get yourself a treat. You deserve it. Super fun to watch. I learned a lot. And yeah, like hope to see more of your runs in the future.
Yeah, I just hope I don't get stuck in the self cave again. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, totally.
That would be a great team name.
Stuck in self cave.
Yeah.
Well, GG's Amarith, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, GG.
GG's Amarith.
Well, we are really excited as Amarith is for the Moonveil Mixer, which is coming up in a couple weeks. But we still have more Potion Party to go. We have matches coming up for you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise. We have another twin cast, so that'll be a cast just like this one, Forerunners all tangling with the same seed. And then we have another twin cast on Free Enterprise 2 at 4 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to tune in for that. And that will be really exciting. And in fact, the twin cast is set at 2 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise. Oh, hey, look at this. Team No Springs featuring Flossie Fern going up against Mitzi. Flossie, an exclusive scouting report. How are you feeling about that match against Nitzy tomorrow?
Feeling decent. I've been practicing. I'm gonna do my patented don't run a practice seed before I play tomorrow, so we'll see where that takes me. I mean, Nitzy's a good runner, so we'll see.
Well, Nitzy is on Team Bolt strategy, but that sounds like you're running a Bolt strategy to me. But
my strategies are always bold.
The other matchup that will be happening on that particular seed is Y2 Sky, the team Golbez, and Golbez versus Stupid Sexy Flanders from the team Bring Your Own Bacchus. So both of those matches taking place on the same stream, 2 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise. And on Free Enterprise 2, there will be Boney versus Wreck-It 89. That's a Time Zones RS versus What's the Big Ordeals matchup. And then in the same matchup, it's Flurry 14 versus Poydrak. That's right. What's the Big Ordeals 2 against Time Zones RS 2. And that'll be on Free Enterprise 2 at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun on Free Enterprise.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. But yeah, I think, that's probably going to wrap it up for tonight. Any final thoughts, Sheep?
I just want to thank our restreamer Adathis, our trackers Zald and Ike here for hanging in there with us. And thank you, Flossie Fern. This was a blast, really a fun, rude race, which is the best kind of rude race.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely very, very fun doing comms with you. And thank you to everyone behind the scenes. It's all a lot of work and it's all for us. It's great. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you very much for joining us. And we'll hope you'll join us again tomorrow on Free Enterprise and Free Enterprise 2. But until then, so long.